R on, R on terrorism is contributing towards growing abuse of human rights. CSS 2015. Outline. D. Introduction. D. Fundamental human rights. D. War on terrorism. D. War on terrorism and abuses of human rights. Torture. Loss of life. Arbitrary detention. Extraordinary rendition. Denial of right to petition. Repressive laws. Suppression of freedom of expression. Discriminations. Invasion of privacy. Sexual assault. The effects of violation of human rights. More cases of terrorism. Emerging terrorist organizations. Lack of establishing global peace. Religious disharmony across the globe. D. Role of civil society and media. D. Protecting human wriglets. D. Conclusion. Essay. Article 1 of the Universal Declaration of Human Article 1 of the Tale. All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Human rights are rights inherent to all human beings, whatever our nationality, place of residence, sex, national or ethnic origin, color, religion, language, or any other status. We are all equally entitled to our human rights without discrimination. These rights are all interrelated, interdependent and indivisible. Universal human rights are often expressed and guaranteed by law, in the forms of treaties, customary international law, general principles and other sources of international law. International human rights law lays down obligations of governments to act in certain ways or to refrain from certain acts, in order to promote and protect human rights and fundamental freedoms of individuals or groups. The principle of universality of human rights is the cornerstone of international human rights law. This principle, as first emphasized in the Universal Declaration on Human Rights in 1948, has been reiterated in numerous international human rights conventions, declarations, and resolutions. The 1993 Vienna World Conference on Human Rights, for example, noted that it is the duty of states to promote and protect all human rights and fundamental freedoms, regardless of the political, economic, and cultural systems. All states have ratified at least one, and 80% of states have ratified 4 or more of the core human rights treaties, reflecting consent of states, which creates legal obligations for them and giving concrete expression to universality. Some fundamental human rights norms enjoy universal protection by customary international law across all boundaries and civilizations. Human rights are inalienable. They should not be taken away, except in specific situations and according to due process. For example, the right to liberty may be restricted if a person is found guilty of a crime by a court of law. All human rights are indivisible, whether they are civil and political rights, such as the right to life, equality before the law, and freedom of expression. Economic, social, and cultural rights, such as the rights to work, social security, and education, or collective rights, such as the rights to development and self-determination, are indivisible, interrelated, and interdependent. The improvement of one right facilitates advancement of the others. Likewise, the deprivation of one right adversely affects the others. Over the centuries, people have struggled to conceptualize and safeguard universally applicable human rights. The Bill of Rights in England, the establishment of habeas corpus, the Constitution of the United States of America, the Declaration of the Rights of Man in France, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights 1945, and all of the United Nations